Kelly, I mentioned Dallas just a while ago. Are you actually a fan of that show?
I watch it occasionally. Yeah, I spent a lot of time in Texas, actually, mostly driving across the state. It's very difficult to describe Texas and try. You hear about how big it is, but you can't really believe it until you try and drive across it. And I would drive for days, and I'd still be in Texas. One of those, you got to get across the state, and there's nothing to stay awake. I don't know, you've made those long trips when you got to drive from one job to the other, and you got to stay awake, and there's nothing out there. There's no scenery, there's no radio. You're in the middle of Mexican stations. And just anything, you know. Road signs. See, they're aware of you falling asleep out there. So what they'll do is they'll put up signs to try and alert you to the fact that you might be falling asleep. But they do it wrong. They'll put up a sign that says, "Sleepy?" Which worked the exact opposite for me. I'd be wide awake and I'd see that sign, "Sleepy?" Well, I hadn't thought about it. Now that you mention it, I can't hear it. Well, the damn fool fell asleep and killed himself. Did you see that sign back there? So I always thought they could keep you awake with road signs. They really could. I mean, just think how awake you'd become if you saw a road sign, "Sniper area." Where am I?
Yeah, that would do it, wouldn't it?
Yeah, or late at night, way out in the middle of nowhere, "Caution, werewolf crossing."
Did you find, in fact, when you came to England, that it was difficult to adjust to our way of life?
Well, driving is probably a good example. I found in America, we don't have roundabouts. We call them traffic circles if we do have them. We have a couple. But here I was amazed. You drive 2 miles and then there's a roundabout. And then you drive around that and you find your exit and then you drive another 2 miles and there's another roundabout. And you drive around that and you go here and there's another roundabout. And I figured out the reason they have those, it makes the country seem bigger.
Yes, we need that.
If it was straight, you could drive to Brighton like that, you know. But where the roundabout is, it takes 4 days. You think, wow, this is huge, you know.
No, it was Churchill who said that we were separated as nations by a common language, wasn't it, or something like that? I mean, have you found the language problem as a comedian certainly difficult from when you first came over?
Yeah, well, there's different words, of course. I never realized the extent of that there was that many different words and different sayings and expressions that we have from here. And I still have to translate when I work on stage, which is very tough as you go along. Instead of saying pants, we say you got to say trousers, or chemist, drugstore, we say in America. And it gets quite lift, of course, an elevator, which are two different things. Although the behavior on an elevator or a lift is the same, I notice, in every country. No matter where you go, people behave the same on a lift. Nobody talks. Nobody talks on a lift because everybody watches the numbers. I don't know why. I've seen people, the lift doors will open and people will be standing out there chattering away and then they'll get on and they'll shut up. and they all watch the numbers. And I do. I get on and I find myself watching numbers and I always wonder why. I already know the sequence. It hasn't changed for thousands of years, but I watch it as if it's going to skip around on me. 1, 2, 14, 19, 22. I knew it! We're lost! But I figured out the reason people do that, see, is because you don't want to get off on the wrong floor. Because every time I've ever talked to somebody on a lift, that's happened to me. You know, somebody I know gets on, they say, "Hey, how you doing? Fine, how are you? Well, good to see you. How's the family?" Get to talking and talking. And I'm not paying any attention, and the lift doors open, and it's an automatic response. You know, you just sort of hear the doors open, and you get off. You start to get off, and I'll say, "Well, good to see you," and I'm getting off. And as I'm getting off, then I'll realize that I'm getting off on the wrong floor. And then there's that terrible dilemma. Should I pretend this is the floor that I want? Or should I acknowledge my mistake and get back on the lift and now ride up with these people who now would have this air of superiority about them? Because they know there's a fool among us. And there's no conception of where he is. So rather than do that, I'll pretend this is the floor that I want. Yeah, this is it. Nice to see you all. Yeah, see you later. Now the door's closed. Then you go through that dance of utter confusion. You know, what floor am I on? 15. I wanted 20. See, now I got to find the stairs. You see, because there's no way in the world I'm going to press that lift button again, because I have this terrible fear that the doors will open and the same people are there going, "Ah!" Told you it was an idiot. So instead, I'll walk up like 5 flights, and invariably, I'll pass the person I was talking to on the way down. You too, me too, I'll be damned. 2 idiots
And
on
you
one
can
way.
break the silence by saying, you know, 3rd floor, ladies' corsets, lingerie, and all that. In a camp voice, they'd love
Yeah,
that.
Hitchcock had a little line, didn't he? He used to wait when the lift was, just as you say, absolutely quiet. And then he'd say to whoever he was with a line from one of his films, like, who would have thought the old man had so much blood in him? And then they'd get out and leave everybody. It was a good game, isn't it? I overheard conversations.
Yeah.
I was in a pub once and I walked past and a group of people said, well, it was your idea we should eat Leslie. Just snippets
Snatch
of
it.
conversation.
Oh, yeah, they're
It's a
marvelous.
great game
Yeah.
for a comedian, I should think.
That's right.
Of course, it isn't just countries that you compare. I mean, you've done a great deal of work with comparing the attitudes of the sexes as well, haven't you?
Yeah, yeah. I suppose well, that's always the eternal battle, as they say. You know, I suppose that came about from adjusting to living with somebody, which I went through. Because I didn't get married till relatively late, really. I had to learn how to compromise. You know, for the longest time, I always wanted to find a woman that liked to do what I like to do. But I never could find a woman that liked to drink and chase women.
I think you found it.
You like to drink and chase women? But I finally did that, and it's tough, you know, because there's so much that separates us. Sounds.
They don't understand
your.
your jokes in bed. That's what you're trying to say.
No, I don't tell too many jokes in bed. I don't want laughs at that particular moment. You know? I have gotten them, unfortunately. But, what was that?
I do that. I hit you from time to time. It relieves
What was I talking
something.
about?
You were talking about
sounds. Yes, I was talking about. Well, you probably know this. That sounds separate the sex. See, men and women don't have the same kind of sounds. They don't. I never heard a woman make the same kind of sounds first thing in the morning in a bathroom that a man makes. No, never. You know, women. No, they have nice sounds. You hear them in there, and you hear the water. You hear the water running. And shh, that's nice. And you hear the medicine chest. And then you hear little sprays. Nice little sounds. See, dainty little things. But it's totally different when a man gets in. Like an African watering hole in there. Right.
Yes, you've got to sort it out.
Yeah.
Now, you of course, talking of dilemmas, you've got the dilemma of doing shows for American audiences and British. You are a commuter. I mean, do you enjoy the flying part of that?
No, that's the tough part about it. Actually, I have really no home now because I was leasing a place in California last year, and it was sold right before I came up, so I put everything in storage. So I feel like I live on a plane now, you know, which I get sick of. It's such a long flight, and I hate the middle seat. I don't know who designs planes, but I always, if I'm late for a flight, you get the middle seat because you're the last one there. Nobody wants it, see? Because it's awful. You know, you got to sit in between. You're stuck in between, and you get there last. So the two people got the armrest locked in. See, so you got to play King of the Hill with the armrest. You see, and what you do is there's little devices. You wait for a guy to scratch his nose. And then this guy will doze off, so you take your elbow and sort of just slowly move it between his arm and the seat back, and you got them both. Now you can't give them up, so you got to sit there like that the rest of the flight, thumb through Time magazine with your tongue, which is. And then, of course, then they serve the meal and then search for turbulence. They always do that. So it's nice and smooth, so you get the meal, and then it's you're with your glass. And you're stuck in the middle. And everything's little. I always feel like, you know, everything's little miniature, little salt and pepper shakers, and little dishes and little cups. And I feel like I'm, you know, first time with the wee people.
I don't know about you, I was always a nervous passenger when I first flew, and if people would lean out to look at the window, the view, I would lean that way. I was really quite scared. I suppose, what?
You know what I can't figure out about planes? I get on a 747 right now. Here's this massive plane that's a marvel of modern engineering. It's got all the latest computers and most sophisticated electronic equipment. And then I look on the windscreen and I see these 2 4-pound windscreen wipers. And I wonder, couldn't they find something better than that? I know it's probably the kind that scrape on the return stroke, you know. And I was wondering, I always picture the pilots up there going through a rainstorm. Hey, Jerry, is that the runway up there?
Yeah, well, I suppose you could always go by sea.
I have before. I've worked a lot of ships. In fact, I worked the QE2 crossing and back. That was really an experience. It's a lovely ship, magnificent ship. And I've worked cruise liners, which are difficult to do. People drink a lot on ships, an awful lot. And the reason they do that is, well, there's not much else to do, basically. First couple of days, it's great, because you walk up on deck, you say, hey, there's the ocean. Wow, look at that out there. It's so big. And then the second day, you walk up on deck, boy, look at that ocean today. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah. Look at the seagulls skim those waves. That's just gorgeous. But after 4 or 5 days of that, people walk up on deck. There's the goddamn ocean again. Oh, those cockamamie waves. Stinking birds. Hell, let's go get a drink. You see people at the bar at 6 in the morning. Some whiskey and a pint of lager, please. And some cornflakes. So you drink a lot, and they're aware of that boredom factor because they feed you constantly, see? Because every time bells would go off, they would feed us. I felt like some kind of experimental animal after a while. And it would work. I'd hear bells, and I'd start to salivate on the way to the diner. Because they would start about 6 in the morning, you'd be like, bing bong! What's that? Breakfast. Oh, yeah, right, okay. So you jump up, and you run down, and you have breakfast. Then after breakfast, you walk on deck. There's a little snack there, see? So you kind of nibble on the snack, and then you go sit by the pool, and some guy brings you a sandwich. Oh, sandwich, thank you very much. Eat the sandwich. Then it's bing bong! What's that? Lunch. Oh, okay, fine. So you go have lunch. Then after lunch is a mid-afternoon buffet. You think, gee, we just ate, but what the hell, we're on holiday. So you fill your plate up and eat that. Then they take that away, put out hors d'oeuvres, you nibble on those, and you go back to your cabin and change your clothes, because it's bing bong! Dinner!
What he's trying to say, it never works on these cruises.
Oh, you eat constantly. Then after dinner, you walk in, there's serving pizza. Then after pizza, there's bing bong. What's that? Midnight snack. Oh, God. So let's go have a midnight snack. Then after that, you stop at the bar for a nightcap. They're serving finger sandwiches. I gotta get away from this food. I'm going to bed. So you go back to your cabin, you open the door, and there's a basket of fruit in your cabin. The whole damn ship is edible. You don't know, people get on as passengers, they get off as cargo.